Um, what's up, everybody? First of all, I wanted to do this on my last time that I was talking to you guys and congratulate the Tiger football team and Coach Silverfield for winning the bowl game. I don't know how that slipped my mind because I came in wanting to do that. So for sure, just proud of the football team and Coach Silverfield and what they did. It's big for the university and the city. And then also to the quarterback Brady White, for winning the Campbell Trophy, man. That means a lot to me. Being a Memphian, understanding the representation of the school. He's a leader, great representative of Memphis, high character guy, and he's won a lot of football games for us here. So it shows the guys that sports and academics mess together here at the University of Memphis, and just proud of him. So congratulations to the Tiger football and Brady White. Thank you so much.
All right, Danielle, first question.
Hey, Penny. How did you feel yesterday when you heard that, your second game in a row was getting postponed? And then, with this, I think it's a 17-day gap between games now, what are the positives and the negatives that come with that type of layoff?
Yeah, well, first, I was disappointed because, I thought that because we made the trip that everything was good. And then to find out when we got here the next morning that there was a positive, test, which can happen. It was disappointing because we never got a chance to go to the gym. We had a 4-hour layover. Had to stay on the runway for 4 hours because they had a COVID situation at the FBO in Orlando before we left to go there. And we finally get there and we couldn't go to do our normal shoot around. And then the next morning we found out that there were COVID situations with the team, so it was very disappointing. The 17-day layoff, you can look at it both ways, obviously, the positive and the negative. The negative side of it is, not having games, getting a little rusty on what we're doing in the games. When you play, you get better. But in practice, the positive is you get a lot of reps on the things that you didn't get a lot of reps on before. More on the offense of working the game 3-on-3 and 5-on-5 out of our offense because it's new. And also the defensive schemes that we put in to even tighten those up even better. So we can look at it as a positive from those aspects as well.
Terry?
What's up, Penny?
What's going on, Terry?
First of all, I want to, send condolences to your team that makes playoffs this year, man. That's first and foremost. I know it hurt. I know it hurt, man. It was hurt. And how you get how you keep your guys mentally in tune with this long layoff, man? I know that's the biggest part with these younger guys, man, is keeping them mentally in tune.
Yeah, definitely. This era, guys are like not locked in all the time, and if you don't have games, then they're lollygagging and thinking of every excuse not to want to practice hard and things of that nature. But for us as a staff, we're keeping the pressure on because we haven't done anything. We've lost 4 games, and obviously we were the favorite in all those games for a reason, and we just didn't come to play. We have too many guys on the team that have to get better, and we challenge them daily for them to do that, whether we're here or not. In practice, even on off days, you just challenge that, and you just gotta you tell them to watch film. We're just trying to do as much as we can to motivate them to continue to work together, so that when we do have another game, that we're ready.
Christian?
Coach, you mentioned some of the positives of this 17-day layoff. How much do you think it can help going forward? Because, obviously with the installation of a new offense and like you said, guys having to get better, this extra time gives them more time to prepare. So how much do you think it can help in the long run?
No, it can help a lot because you'll get a better understanding of both sides of the ball, and then you can work on your game individually. More ball handling, more passing, more footwork, more the fundamentals, the conditioning side of it. As well. So I think that's a plus for a coach. Even though you're not playing games, you're getting time to prepare to go to war.
And then as a follow-up to that, how much progress have you seen from the offense, over the past week or so? Because you only had a week to work on it before the South Florida game. So with this extra week, how much progress have you seen?
I've seen a ton of progress because the guys are starting to understand where they can get their where they can make their plays in the offense, where they could, read situations differently, what teams are going to try to do to us to be ready to offset it. You can just tell in the game against South Florida that they weren't really making the reads properly, which because it was new, and we still had 17 assists. So that lets you know how special this could really be. But to have this time, I'm seeing it get better and better every day.
Clayton?
Hey, Penny. Just with Saturday, and this weekend in particular, I'm just looking at Saturday. There's only 6 teams that are playing in the conference, 5 if UCS or 4 if UCF is not able to go. Have there been any conversations about trying to get a game in but before your next scheduled game against SMU?
Yeah, our athletic director was on the trip with us, Laird Veach, and we had some small discussions about trying to find another game if we couldn't get Temple and UCF kind of figured out to play those games. And we're on the phones trying to get that done with our conference first. We put in calls to a couple teams in the area just to see if it would work, and we're just waiting.
Danielle?
Penny, I wanted to ask about Musa and, what you've seen from him up to this point in this season, where you think he still needs to develop a little bit.
Well, Musa being a guy that came after his junior year right into college with the expectations to come in and do well was kind of unfair to him, even though he's a really good talent, but he's really supposed to be in high school finishing his senior year. So I was just expecting the defensive end to be really good and the offensive end to be a little rusty, because that's what happens when you come to this level, especially when you're a defensive player. But I'm proud of his growth. I'm proud of his work ethic. I'm proud of him coming in to fight right away. There's going to be a lot of things that he doesn't know. But overall, he gets a passing grade from me because his heart is in the right place and he works really hard, even though he's not doing everything as well as he wants to or we need him to right now. He's doing really well for us.
Jason?
Hey, Penny, have you guys have you altered like the practice schedule as it was set out before these games were postponed? Like, are you altering your practice schedule or your schedule in any way?
Yeah, if we can't get a game, then we're going to have to get more off days because we can't practice them with so many days in a row. But the practices maybe have gone, maybe 30 minutes longer just because it's teaching. We're doing a lot of teaching. We're being brought up to speed with DeAndre, not having many games under his belt and having to be brought up to speed. It really has been good. But the schedule does change a little bit because you have to get more off days.
Terry?
Hey, Penny, do all your guys on this team know their roles, or are the roles kind of fluid, or is a game-by-game basis depending on who you're playing?
Well, I think now, since the South Florida game or since the Tulsa game, that it's been identified with who's who and guys understanding, options, the first option, second option, third option, understanding what we're trying to do. So guys have a better understanding now since the Tulsa game for sure.
Clayton?
Hey, I know obviously everything is fluid with the way that pandemic's gone with scheduling in college basketball, but is there kind of a deadline in your mind that's kind of a go or not go in terms of having, a game added?
Man, with all the variables that have to go into this, that it has to be a perfect storm for the other team not to have any games, no COVID situations. It has to be okay by our conference. If we can't get the games that we want to get from Temple and UCF, on the calendar, it just has to be a perfect storm. So we're just really waiting to see. I would love to have another game. If we can't, obviously we don't have anything for a while. I'd love to get another game in. So our minds are on that, and we just have to wait on our conference to let us know.
Jason?
As more and more games are being postponed and more schedules are being affected by COVID-19, I can't help but wonder, the 2 or 3 games now that were either postponed or canceled on your schedule, it was the other side that was the issue. It was the other team that was the issue. How has Memphis been able to avoid positive tests and things like that? I mean, that seems like a pretty large accomplishment.
Well, I understand the coaches, we're all like in a bubble. We leave here and we go home, but with the players, that just has to have been a blessing because, these kids, 18 to 22-year-olds are all over the place. They're not going to be as disciplined, and it's just been a blessing. They've been careful wearing their masks, but they're not just sitting in the dorm or sitting in the apartments just chilling. They're out and about visiting family members. They could just be as easy as a family member having it and you coming into contact. So it's just been a blessing for us not to have it happen to us, since the season started.
Danielle?
Are you able to say what reason Ahmad gave you for choosing to transfer? And then have you guys thought at all about, trying to go pick up someone else in the portal this season to replace him?
Well, Ahmad came to us and he was really raw. He was really raw. And when he came here, he was a little overwhelmed. And we kind of got him to the point that we started getting comfortable and you could start to see him maturing in certain areas on the floor. And then all of a sudden he had the contact tracing before we went to South Dakota and had to miss 2 weeks. And when he came back from the 2 weeks, we pretty much set the roster or the rotation while we were in South Dakota. And it was hard to get him back on the floor because he kind of regressed. He not being in practice, and he's a visual guy, he kind of fell back. And after a while, he came to me and was like, Coach, I'm not grasping what's going on. And now that DeAndre's back, it doesn't seem like I'm going to play. I would rather just go somewhere where I feel like I can play. Right now, it's just overwhelming, everything that you guys have going for me. And we understood that. And I asked him to stay for a while to see if he could just continue to get it. And then he just kept struggling and was like, yeah, I think I've just made my mind up to just go ahead and leave. And then I just gave him the blessings. It wasn't anything negative. It was just I think the 2 weeks sitting out on that contact tracing he didn't need that because he was starting to turn the corner.
Terry?
Hey, Coach, the new net rating came out this week and also the KenPom rating. Do you or your coaching staff take precedence in that and try and improve those rankings by not only winning games, but winning games the way that makes it look better on computer?
Well, quad one wins and quality wins are important, man. And we put ourselves in a bind by losing those two in South Dakota. And then, obviously losing at home to Tulsa, who isn't a bad team, but you got to win that game if you're a good team at home, obviously. And then the Auburn team. Auburn wasn't really the best team at the time. They're not ranked. They're struggling as well. And like I said, 3 of those losses were without DeAndre Williams, so they're not going to care about that. So now, with DeAndre coming back, that Tulsa loss really hurts. So you got to go out. You want to improve. You want to get a game this weekend, hopefully, that can be a quad one type of team that had another situation to try to get back in good graces with the KenPom ratings and all that. So, we're going to try to do our best. And if we can't, then we just have to wait and just continue to do what we need to do in our conference.